Night of the Living podcast is always ad-free for patrons at patreon.com/NOTLP.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast, where we talk about horror films, science fiction, fantasy, all that good stuff. I'm Freddy. There's Amy.
That's me.
And there's Andy.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
We're doing a theme of podcast, supernatural horror. We'll be talking about Insidious for our main attraction.
Yes.
But anything exciting? St. Patrick's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day. If you celebrate, good on you. I don't know what.
Is everybody wearing green?
I am.
I have a
You're
tiny bit
not.
of teal.
No, it's teal.
It's teal. Teal
Freddie,
doesn't count.
get pinched. Get over here.
Yeah,
I owe
I
you a
mean,
pinch.
technically, you're wearing my hoodie, though.
Yeah, but I'm wearing it and you're
Yeah,
not.
that's true.
I got to it first.
I thought you were going to pinch me.
I will. Here, come
All
here.
right.
Come here.
That's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah,
Did you leave a mark?
I hope so.
On my heart,
On his heart.
right here.
I have a tiny bit of green on my shirt. Does that count?
Yes.
Or does it have to be the whole shirt?
Honestly, the rules are as you make them. I'm going to say that you're okay, kid.
You got
Okay,
a
thank
green
you.
booger hanging out of your nose.
There
that
you
counts.
go. Good
I have to
God.
see a doctor then, because green boogers are a bad sign.
It's a dad joke if I've ever heard one.
Mm.
It's a lot.
Green boogers are a bad sign is also a great song title.
It's an awful lot higher, honey.
Well, today is the only day you can get green noodles at Skyline Chili.
I can never bring myself to do it because the
You want a DoorDash?
The visual.
the visual of it makes me want to barf. I know
Green
it's just food
noodles with
coloring.
chili topped on top of it. Yum,
I mean-
yum, yum.
Yeah.
Is it the fact that it's covered in like this brown poopy sauce?
Yeah, it's like green. It's like the closest thing you can make to something like worms served with diarrhea on top.
It's the closest thing.
Visually, it's just not appealing to me visually.
Right.
I mean,
I'm
could you take it if it
exaggerating.
was? Could you take it if there wasn't chili and cheese on top?
I mean, a green noodle's okay because they make spinach pasta,
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm averse to the green noodle, but it's the combination of, if you know what Cincinnati style chili looks like, just dumped on top of green noodles.
Right.
It does. It's like it's ugh.
How much percentage wise is a food's visual presentation?
Huge for me.
Really?
50% of how much I enjoy it.
Where does smell come in? Is smell secondary to visuals?
Well, I put smell and taste together. I don't think you can really tear them.
Yeah,
apart too
because
much.
well,
if you can't
okay.
smell it, you can't taste it.
Yeah, it kind of go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Amy?
I think of that as the other half.
Are you grossed out by visual stuff?
It depends. But I think I'd be okay with something that looks crappy
Yeah,
but tastes good.
I can get over something looking horrible.
I could probably eat the green three-way.
Yeah, but if
I
I, had
have
my
before.
druthers,
It's like I got takeout last year from it,
Yeah.
and I think it wasn't presented on that clean white plate.
yeah,
So it
A black container makes it look
yeah.
better.
yeah, because the noodles were mostly covered by the sauce.
yeah,
So I think I could stomach it, and I don't get grossed out too easily.
yeah. If I didn't see it,
He eats
If
a
I just
lot of
started
gas
eating it,
station
it'd be
food
fine.
this here, Andy. So he does not get grossed out easily.
that's true. Gas station hot dogs are popular with a lot of people. Actually, Andy's not the exception.
He is the rule.
He is like
are the
a gas
exception.
station hot dog is up there. It's been rolling around all day.
Mm-hmm.
It
All of
does
that grease.
taste
Yeah.
good.
They're real good.
I like a roller hot dog.
Yeah.
God,
Taquito.
I'm trash.
Just grab a taquito and it's a 40-ounce Mount Everest. Not Mount Everest. Is that what they call it?
What are we talking about?
The malt liquor they used to have over there was real cheap.
You
It-
mean Mad Dog?
Taquitos.
Oh, is it Colt 45?
I was thinking of Mount E. Colt
Oh.
45 is actually like a step up from there.
Mm.
Oh, God.
Or is it old E? Maybe it's Old English.
Old English,
It's
isn't it?
Old English. That's
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
Isn't that what you use to polish your wood?
Yeah, but you also drink it.
Oh wow.
It's two different products. But
Don't get them mixed up.
we drank a lot of those in this neighborhood growing up.
We
that
had-
was a staple.
At work today, we had a little happy hour after work, and I had a Guinness because, of course, you have to have something Irish on this
Yeah.
fine day. Ew. Just ew. I drank the whole goddamn thing, but ew.
I'm very proud of you, Amy, because it's not like I drink anyway, but every now and then I'll have a nice cider or something. But Guinness is so thick.
Yeah.
It's so thick.
It's also not like it feels like it should have a lot of flavor because it's so dense, but it doesn't.
No.
Oh no, I think it does have a lot of flavor, but
It's very yeasty.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's funny because I eat
Yeah.
Vegemite pretty frequently, so you'd think I'd like
Yeah.
but something about it in liquid form is gross.
Yeah.
yeah, isn't it kind of like Guinness is like an incomplete flavor? It's not so much that it doesn't have flavor, but you know, some things
It's
are
not
round.
full bread dough.
Yeah, like
close.
A Miller High Life is very distinctly a flavor beginning to end. You know, you taste it, you're like, there's everything. That's what High Life tastes like, the full flavored version, not the light stuff, because then it starts tasting watered down, right? But like Guinness doesn't have that. It just has that big empty note waiting for something else. I think like that's why like people
That's
put
what you're
other shit in
chewing.
it.
You're just
Yeah.
chewing on it. You're like,
Yeah.
a berry you can chew.
You need like some berry in there, like a Guinness
See-
with some like a berry
Like
cider,
a raspberry.
like any kind of berry cider.
Ooh, like a Guinness float, but with like raspberry
Yeah.
ice cream.
You could do like they do the floats with it. Yeah.
Could be good.
Have you
I
had
don't
one of
know.
those, Andy?
Yeah, but that's what like it to me. It looks very appealing because it looks like a dessert to me.
It does.
It looks creamy, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I could eat
On
that with
top.
a spoon.
Right.
And then when you drink it, it's like, oh, sorry, Ireland, but it's not for me.
You're like,
Yeah.
"Ew,
I had one with
cool."
a vanilla ice cream in it once, and it didn't win me over.
I don't know how it could.
But I do love the way it looks.
But I'm, to people who love that taste, hey, I get a lot of shit because I like candy corn. So we're no different.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You're exactly the same.
we're exactly the same. Just take your lumps. We have to take our lumps.
So Patreon,
Our lovely lady lump. Patreon.com/NOTLP.
thank you so much. We can't do that without you guys.
Do this without that.
Do that without this or the other even.
Mm-hmm.
And those. But that's where we get most of our funding. We have ad-free versions of the show there, plus Zoned Out, which is where me and Joe Juvland revisit the old Twilight Zone TV series. That's a lot of fun. And Topicana, we just did. What was the last grab bag there?
Yeah.
I can't remember what you titled the episode. If you don't, it's okay.
Oh, topic to table.
That's right. Topic to Table. That was a good title.
Thank you.
And then Origins, and we're having a special
Just our
guest
older episodes.
on the Origins intro. These are the early episodes. So we have an episode from 2012 coming up here. Matt, who used to be one of our contributors the first season of the show, first year,
First year.
and
season. We don't
not
do seasons.
yeah, and he'll be coming on. We're
You guys
it's
are
gonna
gonna
be fun. And if you want to join us, Andy, I can let you know. We're trying to do it Wednesday, but we'll get with you
yeah. Why don't you get
If
with
you're
them on
interested.
your own time,
if you're interested.
not on everybody else's?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's schedule out the rest of the year on air.
Yeah,
do
you
it.
guys want to just let's
I
write our
that's,
schedule.
I think the listeners would love that.
We leave a lot in. I'll tell you what, but we're
Yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah,
We're not doing
that's okay.
that. All right.
We have other hours in the day. Yeah.
You ready to move on?
So before we move on, like
Hold on.
I think we got some. There's exciting news happening over at Bloody Good Horror.
Oh yeah, Andy.
Yeah, our old friend John, he's on the Bloody Good Horror podcast. Turns out he's the new CEO of Eli Roth's new production company, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, I
I
And
knew him
fancy
when.
too. I was like, damn,
yeah.
CEO.
I was blown away. I texted him and to congratulate him, and I realized we hadn't spoken in a while, and I'm like, I don't even know this is still his number, but it
Yeah.
was.
Well,
and-
now you had
yeah.
now you have to go through his people. He doesn't
That's
answer.
what I
We've
was
known
waiting for,
John
yeah.
Peons.
for like 15 years.
Yeah. Love you, John. Congratulations. You
Yeah,
really
it's really
deserve
cool.
it.
Yeah.
I know you're gonna
Remember
do
us
cool
when you get
things.
big.
Yeah. I think he is big. I consider that a big time. That's
That is
big
pretty
time
big
stuff. He drives a Dodge Stratus now.
Yeah.
That was really
Proud to
cool.
know you.
John Schnars, the fanciest man we know.
Yeah.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction.
This week's main attraction, Amy picked.
Yes, I did.
Insidious, a revisit for all of us.
I've been wanting to revisit it. I don't know why. Because my first go round with this movie, I didn't care for it. But it's been in me to like give it another shot. So when we picked supernatural horror, which is the broadest category
Yeah.
you can come up with, theme,
Yeah.
I was like, let's give that another go if I get a shot at picking a movie. So
That's definitive. This is a definitively supernatural horror movie.
right.
It's a great example of exactly what that genre is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great example of it, and not necessarily a great movie though.
Right.
Right.
Although it has a lot of classic moments that are now considered classic moments. I mean,
Yeah, it started like a whole new genre of a whole like it started a whole universe,
yeah,
and then there are so many copies of this that I don't know. It's looking back on it, if it's the fault of the movie that to me it doesn't hold up.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it necessarily.
Because there's been so much dilution of it
Yes.
since it came out.
and the subsequent sequels have kind of like watered it down too, and I'm just curious to what we thought about the first time. I think Freddy said like we kind of decided that the first two acts maybe were better, and then it kind of lost us on the third.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, even the first two acts don't really hold up for me.
Yeah, I mean they're not fantastic, but the acting's good enough that that I care about what's going on with them, and I buy them as people. But I remember that first time we saw it, and you get to the third act where they go to the further. I think everybody who listens to this show has probably seen this movie.
I would
But
hope so.
we'll kind of loosely synopsize as we go, I guess. But later in the movie, you go into the further. I remember from the moment that Lynn Shay puts on the gas mask and the further really becomes a big part of the story, that I felt like it went off the rails, and I was just like, oh,
Like
they
it took a giant dump.
yeah, it felt like it went from being subtle and like creepy to being too campy. And now I think my opinion's changed some on that.
Yeah, but even watching it now, the first act, even before the gas mask scene came on, it wasn't very subtle at all.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. Now you look at it through eyes now of again having seen it
especially-
imitated so many times.
No, especially now with the elevated horror and how subtle that is now comparatively. It makes Insidious look like a pie in the face
Oh, yeah.
in terms of like
Exactly.
subtlety.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it was subtle back then, but compare like now is like hitting you over the head with everything.
Yeah. The jump scares is that what you mean?
Yeah, and
Things
it's
in the
what
background.
it's like it doesn't trust its audience at all.
Yeah.
It tells you every time like this is scary. It's like show versus tell type of movie making, and this is very tell. Like this is scary. This is when you should be like scared.
It's funny that you say that because I remember when the movie first came out that the director, James Wan, was like, he wanted to do exactly the opposite of what you're saying. And that's why he didn't put the music stings during certain parts where there's a ghost in the background. He's like, I'll just let the audience, I don't want to spoon feed the scares. I'll let the audience find like this character, like an example is the little boy in the paperboy newsboy hat type thing.
Yeah, those were effective. I thought when they didn't tell you, like the stings and everything, but they couldn't keep well enough alone and
Yeah.
just kind of even with the little boy scene, like it was too much of it showed too much of him.
Was
I
it
thought.
the hide and seek? Like, because
I thought that was too much.
yeah,
Yeah, like all as to me, like now, like my tastes have changed so much. Like all I need is kind of like just seeing him running the background. I don't need to see like her chasing him down the hall and finding him in the underneath that stand or whatever.
he was like in an armoire or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
jumped out.
They did show too much of the
Yeah.
little boy ghost, I thought.
So just the lightning quick synopsis is: little boy falls in a coma. He is during that time actually in a place called the Further,
Because he astral
because
projected.
he astral projected, and his parents are struggling to keep it together.
We used like the astral projection and the reveal that he had this ability, and we look at and you see his pictures that he drew on the wall,
I mean, like,
and it
as
is literally
obvious as could
spelled
be.
out. Is literally spelled out for you. Like, I had a dream where I can see myself, and like it's a picture of him floating above the house as Superman. It is like spoon feeding us everything. Like, come on, give us a little credit. Give us a little credit
Yeah.
that we're smarter than this.
Well, they even the in that same, isn't one of them also the lipstick demon, the red faced
Yeah.
demon that's in the movie? They like he
The
drew him.
lipstick demon.
That's what they
Yeah.
call it. It's because that's not blood or anything. That's lipstick all over its face.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
thought he,
it smeared
I always
lipstick
thought he
all
looked
over
like-
his face.
I always thought he looked like Darth Maul.
Yeah, it does look like Darth Maul. I remember that was like jarring too when we first saw it. We're like, that is Darth Maul. Like, it's unmistakable.
So Darth Maul came first.
Yeah, yeah, right. Obviously, otherwise we probably wouldn't have had that reaction unless we're all psychic.
Right.
Yeah, Darth
I
Maul
don't
came
know.
first.
I don't know these things. When did this movie come out?
But when did Han shoot?
2011.
Okay. Wow.
I think that was the date, which is like seems like so.
So
I mean,
early.
it is like maybe like 14 years ago, but it just seems like longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they bring paranormal expert Lin Shaye in, who turns out has a connection to Patrick Wilson as a child because he also had the same problem. She helped him then, but they erased his memory like Men in Black style, I guess. And then they go through the whole rigmarole again this time, and they erase their memories at the end.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
And then all the details in between.
I don't think they erased memories at the end. This one ended on a cliffhanger. You're thinking of the second one because you
Oh,
got
because
yourself a little
I
confused.
went ahead.
This
a
one
little
ends on a
bit.
cliffhanger with potential demon possession. Not demon, but you know what I mean.
He kills Lin Shaye. He kills her.
He kills
at
Lin
the end of
Shaye.
the movie. Yeah,
And then
and that's pretty much
Touches
where
his
it
wife
ends,
on the
right? It says,
shoulder.
"I'm here."
no, he touches his wife on the shoulder and she looks back at him like, ah! And then it
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah,
So
there
that's
we
all.
go.
Okay, so I thought the movie originally, I was like, you lost me, and you lost me too hard. It ruined the rest of the movie for me. Although I remember loving the first part of the movie. Then the gas mask comes on, and then I was like, that ruined everything.
I love the gas mask this time.
I would say this time around, I had got a lot more enjoyment out of this movie. Still don't love this movie, and I don't think I ever need to see it again.
Well,
Same.
But I got more enjoyment out of it.
yeah. Well, my enjoyment came at laughing at it, not as opposed
It's very
to
silly.
Yes. I did appreciate how, not appreciate, but it was interesting how fast they put that kid in a coma.
Yeah,
To me, like at that point, like it had nowhere else where to go, and it was just kind of flatlined for most of the movie because there was no build up to anything at all.
Well, until the further scene.
Yeah, but then that's kind of where it tipped over the edge, where it's like ridiculous,
Oh yeah, yeah.
you know.
Um,
So like for most of the movie, it was just like jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. Once that kid got in a coma, and it was just very, like to me, very one note.
Yeah, and that's
I don't know.
I think that becomes the problem with all of these in the series going forward.
that they become
Well, they become a little monotonous, and
Right.
also like they they like to kind of play with the same basic set of rules a little bit, but they don't really make any big swings. You know, they just kind of add more. They add a little more mythology every time without really refining what they've got. I don't know.
In this one, I spent a little bit more time kind of paying attention to the characters in this one, or this time around. Less about the scares and more about like the interpersonal dynamics between the couple and their kids and everything. Poor Foster.
Mm-hmm.
His parents are so busy with coma and baby,
Yeah,
coma kid and baby. They don't have time for Foster.
they don't.
Not even his good achievements. He doesn't even want to bother him.
He's ignored.
I feel so bad for that kid.
She was a songwriter too, which I like that they didn't like have some fake. You know, like you watch some movies and someone's sitting at the piano, suddenly you get this produced song come out of them where they're lip syncing to the recording and everything. But they really showed her writing, you know, a song that was like a so-so song and didn't have to make her sound perfect or anything. It was a nice change of pace.
And just watching it this time, I forgot. I guess I didn't forget, but like I did notice how much of a jerk Patrick Wilson's character was. Even in the beginning, I thought where he just left her alert in the hanging, like, "Hey, here's all the stuff you have to do. I got to go to work now. Here's the stuff I didn't tell you at all. Bye."
And then he stays late at work and he doesn't help her. And
They got like a baby.
Yeah.
he's like not a good partner.
No.
Let's just say.
He is not.
Although I tended to agree with him when he had that whole monologue and like rant at Lin Shaye for exploiting them. I actually thought that was a really reasonable rant in that moment. Husbandly problems aside.
Oh yeah, as the skeptic.
Yeah, because he's the skeptic.
But this was after they saw like the room was locked and the handle was moving and they opened the door and the room was trashed and all this supernatural stuff was happening. And then he says, "Get out, you're using us. This is fake." Like, do you just not see what happened, sir?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I see what you mean, but
they,
I think
kinda
his
cover that
larger
some, too.
I think there's listen, the movie is explicit. Ghosts are real, they're in the house. This is what's happening.
Full ghost penetration.
But full ghost penetrate. But
Without protection either.
like raw dogs.
It's raw
no
dogging
lube.
you.
Okay. But in the universe of the movie, he is the skeptic. He is the one that is going to err on the side of rationality.
No, I get that leading up to it, but it doesn't make sense when he's skeptic after seeing what he saw.
Well, you know, it does. If from the character standpoint, I think they kind of justify writing it that way by saying that he did experience those things, and the trauma was so much that he was having a knee-jerk reaction. And even though it was stuff he couldn't explain, he was angry because he didn't know where to put it because they wiped his memory. So like the characters actually got more complexity than I think a lot of viewers would give it credit for, because Patrick Wilson's supposed to be like dealing with all these things. He knows all these things about his character.
Yeah.
That
His brain is just
that we don't know, right?
Fried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like who knows what's happening with him? And then obviously at the end he's fully possessed. Like it's goes full shining as the next movie starts. Yeah.
And Amy brought about skepticism, but the thing that I was most skeptic about was how does this family afford this house on a teacher salary?
Same conversation when we watched it, Andy.
Maybe she gets a lot of residuals from her songs or something.
But he's a teacher, and they have an
like
enormous
a high school
house.
teacher or something.
Yeah.
And like I'm not saying they make
3 kids?
decent money.
I didn't see any
but
platinum
not in
records on her walls.
Yeah, but this is a beautiful craftsman house.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty updated.
And they move on
they have 3 kids.
Yeah. They move at a moment's notice from one nice house to another really nice house.
Mm-hmm. Must be nice.
So that was the most unbelievable part of the movie for me, at least.
Their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Maybe she does have some like licensed songs somewhere. She's getting just catching in checks or something.
Big checks, big giant checks. She wrote the Thong Song
Oh, that's what it was.
and Who Let the Dogs Out.
Shit, it was her.
That's the
whole
prequel I
time.
It
want.
was her the whole time. She let the dogs out.
Turns out she sold her soul to write those songs, and that's where this is all originating from.
Yeah, and they're coming back to collect.
Hollywood, send your inquiries.
Yeah.
My P.O. box.
Thing that really bugged me about this movie, though, one of the things that really bugged me was the desaturated nature of it. Like, can we have some color, please? Can we have some warmth?
Is this where it started, that trend?
No.
Was this a 2010s
Saving
thing?
Private Ryan started that with Bleach Bypass. And then all the movies that wanted to be taken seriously were like, Saving Private Ryan was taken pretty seriously. Let's
I guess
do
we
Bleach
all
Bypass.
have to do that.
Or desaturate everything digitally.
I don't know why that bothers me so much. We're allowed to have color in the world.
Yeah.
You don't have to hide color in order to have scares.
Yeah.
You can have a nice, colorful room and still be frightened in it.
I think it's because they were using red, like so many other directors have, as like a flag that they needed to stand out as much as
Yeah,
possible.
The red was the only like pop of color, and it was like very saturated as opposed to everything else in the movie.
I find
Yeah.
that quite trite.
It is now, and it was then even because The Sixth Sense had already done it long before
Right.
this, and other films have done it. You know, red.
Simpsons did
It's a
it.
classic thing. I don't know who originated the little girl in the red coat in Schindler's List. Another example. Like they just love having that splash of red against like nothing.
Okay.
That's all I was thinking.
That's
about.
all you was thinking about.
You know, you got me thinking about it.
So this one, I was trying to pay more attention. Like I was more caught up in the interpersonal kind of relationship stuff, but also I wanted to be more mindful of what flags they were giving us to bring us to the end. But I didn't remember exactly what happened in the end. I think I checked the fuck out when the further happened originally. So I was paying more attention to any like clues,
Like Easter eggs and stuff like
Easter
that.
eggs,
Yeah.
things they were trying to drop for us to notice. And one thing that I did write down was that there were no childhood photos of Patrick Wilson's character, because I'm like, that feels like that's going to come back around.
Yeah,
And
pays off great.
And it did. It was in really, well, this is one of the little bugaboos. So you find out later, because Barbara Hershey's his mom. She looks great in this movie.
Oh, and she's gonna be at Horror Hound soon too.
She's going to be at
Yeah.
our horrorhoundweekend.com. You find out that little Patrick Wilson had a ghost that was trying to get into his body every time he astral projected.
And I just love these pictures where this old lady
pictures.
is just lurking behind
The
them.
biggest bugaboo, because they're
And it
so
was so
blatant,
obvious, you know.
Yeah.
so obvious. Like I could see
Don't you feel
this being more impactful if they were
Yeah.
more subtle.
well? And don't you think Reddit spoiled us too? Because in the intervening 14 years or whatever since this movie came out, you go to Reddit and some of the worst like ghost photos are these ones where
yeah.
somebody took somebody like in a costume and did exactly what they did in this movie. Because you could do the same shit at home now, you know, with Photoshop and everything. You could mostly do.
Do you
stuff
remember
then.
those old disposable cameras?
Yeah,
But they would put
Oh,
a
yeah.
zombie in the frame with you,
yeah.
or like a ghost in the frame with
Those
you.
were more subtle than this.
Yes, they really were. They really were.
And I just wonder at what point because Barbara Hershey said like, you know, and like I just noticed the pictures she kept getting closer and closer. I was like, at what point did you notice this? You should have. How many pictures did you
You
take?
need
before-
glasses because it
you
would
know,
have taken you many.
It's the last one. That's when she noticed. The very last picture she took.
There's practically a
he's
selfie of the old lady ghost.
Yeah, where her like hand is literally on his shoulder, and that's finally when you like notice that you should do something.
And she was clearly picking her battles of when to take a picture of him growing up, because it's not like she was constantly doing it, because there's, you know, you could figure out kind of how much the ghost moves each time and do the math. And you're like, oh, she risked her life on certain occasions just to have a photo. That's the twisted shit.
I just wish there were some pictures of him at the water park and the old ladies back on the inner tube too.
Oh, yeah, like a lazy
floating in the
river.
river, or a birthday party, and she's in the background with a hat on.
Oh, you know what's better than the lazy river? Coming down one of the slides.
Yeah, I bet bet ghosts want to have fun too.
Yeah.
Ghosts just want to have fun.
Or like she's on a roller coaster and she has her hands out like, "Woo."
Oh, by the way, the guy who played the lipstick demon was also the guy who did the music, which
Oh,
I know
fun.
Andy. The first thing Andy said was about the music
When you guys were talking.
when we were
earlier.
talking before we recorded. Yeah.
I got a headache on the last act in the further.
Oh.
My God, it just is like a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
It's like every time, it sounded like somebody dropped a piano off of like a 10-story building.
That's what they were going for.
Somebody kicked a violinist in the ass.
Yeah.
33 violins.
33 violinists in the ass. They all went, meow.
I can't wait. You did 33 violins. It's a lot of violins.
It was just
I don't
a
have
lot.
one violin, let alone many violins.
He is a violin
to
rack.
That will never leave me. Wayne's World will never leave me. Go on. I will be dementia ridden somewhere in a care home,
Pure gold.
and I will still be making that joke. I don't have a gun, let alone many guns.
That would necessitate a gun rack.
Yeah.
Because you see,
Because you see.
Larry Flynn Boyle,
Just a psycho
Mike
hose beast.
Myers,
Myos.
Michael Myers.
Anyway, where were we? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We were in Insidious. We were talking about how Barbara Hershey keeping it tight. We were talking about the music.
Oh,
You-
yes. All the
You
violence.
think I should go and get a picture up with her and have her sign a candy bar?
Oh my God, you should.
It's
I
never
bet
happened to her.
She probably, I bet she's used to it. She probably knows what to write on them too. Asshole. Wrong Hershey, fool.
And I was like, I tapped my cheek and like, give me a Hershey kiss.
Oh, that's adorable. And you could get away with that, Andy.
You could. You're a doll baby. Question for you guys. And Freddie, you tried to explain me out of this, but I don't
Yeah.
know that you did.
What's that?
And I'm being stubborn. So the kid's in a coma because he astral projected and he's out of his body.
He went too far away from his
He went
body.
too far away from his body.
Yeah.
He's just floating around, having a good time, then just goes a little too far.
I don't know how
So
I
his
explained
body-
anything to you, but I'm interested to see how this plays out.
It's just empty. It's an empty shell.
Yeah.
But when Patrick Wilson goes astral projecting and he's in the further
Yeah.
and he gets beat up by the demon,
Yeah.
his physical body is moving and
Yeah.
shaking and acting as if it's getting hit too. It's going through trauma at the same time. But if he's in the further, how can that be?
Oh, Lynn Shay has a throwaway line that explains it right before it.
Okay,
She
I don't
says,
remember that.
the further you get in or something, the more it will be able to physically affect you.
Lying bitch.
I might
Hence
even
the
be able to
name,
find the,
The
line,
Further.
actually. Yeah.
It's not called the closer, Amy. It's
so
called the
redundant.
further.
But how can you? It just with the kid's in a coma. But Patrick
he's not
Wilson
being-
can feel it.
But he's not being hurt in the further.
Right.
I guess.
Well, we haven't got to the best part of the movie, which is Tucker and Specs.
Tucker and Specs. Tucker and Specs.
And they're dressed like Mormons going door to door.
Yeah, what is that?
It was a nod to Poltergeist, I think, because I think that's how the guy was dressed.
And we're like there was like to me it was like a nod to like when that guy was cooking a steak at 3 o'clock in the morning in Poltergeist, and after Specs got hit by the demon, like he's
he
like
had the
he
stakes
put
on
his
him.
put a stake on his head to like to soothe his bruises. So
Aw.
that, to me, I think that was a nod to Poltergeist.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, with the stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that might have even been noted in the trivia. That same example. I'm trying to find that
Yeah.
quote that explains how he can still get hurt.
It's okay. You don't need to.
Anyways,
No, it's
out
to me
there.
it was like the Matrix. Remember, if you die in the Matrix, your physical body dies in real life.
Okay.
Yeah. But Amy, I get it. There's shifting rules. They move the
shift the rules.
goalposts.
It's the
A lot in
certainty.
this
Okay.
series.
So the thing that always bothers me, and Freddy ruined me. He's ruined me for other men. No. Because I consider myself a ghost believer. I believe in ghosts. But Freddy is very much a skeptic, and he is very much a critic of a ghost hunting show or a ghosty show.
I'm more of a believer than I used to be.
Okay, so maybe we're bringing each other
A little more
to the
close
center.
But I still, those ghost hunting shows still make my skin crawl usually.
And it's
the wrong
the
reasons.
certainty with which these motherfuckers talk about the afterlife or the rules of paranormal research or like paranormal incidents. When they talk about the rules of this made up bullshit, because it's made up right now.
They play with that in this movie.
Because
With
nobody
these guys.
knows any of this. So when Lin Shaye starts talking about all this stuff in the movie with all this certainty in her voice, it turns me off because
triggers
I
you.
get turned off by that.
Yeah.
On these ghost hunting shows, where instead of going, I don't know, we think this works.
Yeah.
They go, well, if you get an EMF detector in the spirit box and you got to do the doohickey and that stuff, and then if that happens, well, you know, and then
Yeah.
you're in the further. That stuff bugs the shit out of me.
It made me want to play some Phasmophobia, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
Or
all
I
that
guess-
data.
She was adamant about it because she did have proof.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, she had proof, but it still triggered me.
The I love that they do kind of play with that though in this movie where one of the guys I've already forgotten this Tucker, is that the big guy?
Tucker, I believe so.
He I love these actors too. Lee Winnell's really funny. But he's like, some of this stuff is just modified toys. And that was such a playful element where you're like, yeah, but he's just doing this to get to the thing he's figured out, and that's how he does it. It's very much like Egon or something.
Right.
You know, like it's got that playful, which I appreciated that this time, where before I think I was just wanting to be scared so badly when we saw this in the movie theater when it came out. All I cared about was scare the shit out of me. Scare me as badly as you can scare me, you know? I didn't give a fuck about the story or any of that stuff. And this time around, like the campier elements were more welcome, I think, because I've watched so many genre films now that like I see that this movie did try to stand out in some interesting ways. Like
Yeah.
the lair of the lipstick demon is awesome. I think I railed and probably rallied against that scene and bitched about it, but it's such a fun moment.
Was that ever explained? His like, does he have an origin? The
They
lipstick demon.
They get a little bit more into it in the other movies, but not a lot. You get a little more.
Okay, because it just seems like they just threw a bunch of stuff at the wall, like, what's creepy?
Yeah.
You know, puppets are creepy. Let's throw that in.
Yeah.
This cute song that we play slowly. That's creepy. Let's throw that in too.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips by
Yeah.
Tiny Tim.
But that was kind of new when they did it.
Yeah, it wasn't real common. The Strangers had done it, and to great effect. And I think that was before this, right?
I'm trying to be more grace.
Yeah, I
Give
want
more
to
grace
like
to the movie.
like I said, like before, I'm looking at it through eyes from like current eyes, and
That's all you've got.
I'm just wondering if we thought this was kind of groundbreaking when it happened. So like, if somebody has that episode, like tell us what we thought.
I think I remember us saying we
remember
thought it was
not liking it.
overrated. I think we all kind of
think
agree that.
It is though, because it has remained part of the horror canon.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, at the end of the day, we're in the minority.
Well, it just has a cultural
Or
impact
we
doesn't
were-
make it a great film.
Yeah.
True.
You know.
I didn't say it was that it needs to be a great film. I mean, it has made an impact
Yeah.
beyond what we feel.
Yeah.
It struck at the
Yeah.
right time.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me not to be like to check my like snobbish horror tendencies and gatekeeping for people who like really like this series
Yeah.
and like this is basic, this is stupid. But that's just like I don't want to like rail on somebody's
Don't yuck somebody's yummy.
movies, but just looking back at it now, it is kind of basic and very entry level,
You know what's funny is if you like go out on the internet, there's still people, not as many, but it's adorable when they're like, "Is Insidious a true story?" And
could
like,
be is it because like
Well, Conjuring
of
is
Amityville and
supposed
stuff
to
like
be.
that? People still believe Amityville was real.
Yeah. it
and
just
like
cracks
there's-
me up.
And the fact that like they pulled the the Warrens into this, with the Conjuring and stuff. That's why they think it's real.
I think it's so hopeful a question too, because like you have the internet at your fingertips. You could learn about anything.
This is the Conjuring universe, right? Or is it?
I don't know if these
Are they
movies
related?
take place in the same universe or not. I don't know.
No, they call it the Wannaverse, right? But that doesn't start until The
Okay.
Conjuring. Like,
It's just it's like they just blend together for me because
Right.
those movies are so similar.
well, you know how you can tell the difference is Patrick Wilson plays a different character in different movies. Now, Marvel has taught us though that nothing means anything ever.
Yeah.
So they could all be the same universe, and it's just an offshoot. Or Patrick Wilson, the character it would make no sense. Why he looks like Ed Warren. It would make zero sense.
Yeah.
Man.
Zero.
But
And
why
I used
not?
to get this movie confused with the Ethan Hawke one.
oh,
Sinister?
Sinister. I
Sinister.
like a lot.
I haven't seen
Is there one-
Sinister in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there one called Malicious too?
Malignant.
Malignant.
That's great too. Now that's also James Wan.
Which one's Malignant? That's the one that came out a couple years ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more
Newer.
recent. It's wild.
Yeah.
You were just saying something. Oh yeah, Sinister. Ethan Hawke turned down this movie, and that's why he did Sinister.
I think he did the better movie.
He did.
Yeah.
Although it still has a problem in the third act. A jump scare that looks real ridiculous now.
Right.
But other than that, that's a great movie. I think
That's-
atmosphere.
That's Bagul, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
with a nice smear of cream cheese.
Yummy.
I love a good bagool.
I am into it. All right.
Yeah, so Insidious.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say about?
Yeah. Not for me, but I respect what it's done and its place in the horror universe.
Same. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'm done watching it. I've seen it twice now.
Yep,
I think it's enough.
same. I've seen all of these movies, even though I was like not for me at the first one.
I've only seen the first one. I guess I did watch the second one.
The second one's is okay.
The
not
third
great.
one, did we like that?
I did.
Or was it the fourth one?
I don't know that
liked?
you watched the
I watched another one.
third one.
Okay. It's the second one where
There's like 5.
All
is
these
the
numbers.
second one where they go to that old church and like those are all the pews and they're covered in the sheets and they start moving.
Probably. I don't
I don't
remember for
know.
sure. The second one though just kind of picks up where this one the second one was the prequel. No, that's the third one.
The second one is a pure sequel.
The second one is the sequel, sorry. Yeah, the second one is where it's more like The Shining, like he's possessed, right?
Yeah.
And did it turn out that Lin Shaye wasn't dead and she actually is alive in second one?
No,
No.
she's dead.
Okay.
But she
So
comes
she
back.
dead. She's dead.
She comes
She's
back
in the third one because it's a prequel.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last key, which I saw, I think by myself,
I'm pretty sure I saw it with you.
I thought was not very good.
I'm glad to know I made such an impression on you that day.
Well, you
That
should have
would
said more.
remember.
And then, I guess that's a good segue to the algorithm and what's new, because I had no idea that they made in 2023 a fourth or fifth. I've lost count already. Insidious movie. This time, Patrick Wilson in his directorial debut.
Debut.
I watched it on Netflix. It's not great, but it's new. It's like kind of a fresh story. It's different than every other part of the series, but they bring back, the whole cast is pretty much back.
Even Rose Byrne and everything.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah.
They're, that's the thing too, is like you kind of tell like
She got
Rose
big.
Byrne's busy.
Yeah.
She's constantly doing stuff. And like the fact that she even had the small part in this says a lot. But it also feels like a little weird because the kids going to college, the venue's very different.
The Coma Kid.
It has the feeling of it just has a feeling of one of those sequels that was not intended to be part of a franchise almost. But then they rein it back in and they connect it more to the original movie as you get along, and it kind of turns out to be just an okay movie. If you're a hardcore Insidious fan, check it out. But otherwise, I would say
Is his
bother.
is the little forgotten brother in this?
yeah,
Does he get more attention?
he's back. I think it was like his first acting gig too in a long time. They brought him back. And
It
there's
is
a
nice
song
that they brought the kids back.
that Patrick Wilson sings the theme song at the end with Ghost, the band Ghost.
How's his voice?
I think you heard a little bit of it.
No, Patrick Wilson's like a trained singer. He's been
Oh,
like
is he
been on
really?
Broadway. He's been like been on Broadway and everything.
Yeah.
Handsome and talented? Get out of here.
Yeah, I think he was in the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah?
movie. Yeah,
Oh,
he
okay.
actually has some good pipes. He has pipes.
Now,
Can he lay pipe? I'm sorry.
not to give
I'm
up.
sure he can.
Oh yeah.
We
Couldn't
saw
help
him at
I saw him at Whorehound.
Whorehound.
Oh, that's right. He was there.
He's handsome up close.
Yeah, and like with most celebrities, smaller than you think.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't. You don't want to give up on Insidious entirely. There is another movie coming out, and this one has like, it's the guy who wrote and directed, who also came to Whorehound. We met when he was putting out the Exorcist TV series. Jeremy Slater.
Mm-hmm.
He's writing and directing Thread and Insidious Tale, which is like a spinoff.
Interesting.
And it's Mandy Moore and Kumail Nanjiani playing a couple who are trying to prevent their daughter's
Kumail.
death by traveling back in time.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
Okay.
So it's going to connect somehow, I guess.
I love
Yeah,
Kumail.
did they have to take the further?
No.
Yeah, they have to go via
to
the
go
further.
We gotta go extra further.
Although I love Jeremy Slater's, that series he did was awesome.
I did love the Exorcist TV series. That was
Yeah.
good stuff.
So I'm in for whatever. He did a great Q&A. Did you go to that Q&A, Andy, at Horror Hound
Yeah.
with him?
Yeah, because they showed the first episode, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
like an early screening or something.
Yeah.
That was fun. And it turned out to be really good. Sometimes, you get all keyed up for something like that and you're like, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
They got two seasons out of it, I think, before
And
they
it turned out
canceled
to be
it.
great.
Yeah. What about you, Amy? You can come back. I'm going to come back around, but I wanted to know if you had anything.
I actually do this time. I made an extra effort to watch something so I could talk about it here. You're welcome. Watched a movie called Frogman. It appeared on Tubi, and it said featured, and it said, "Would you like to watch this?" And I said, "Well, I think I would," because I live about half an hour away from Loveland, Ohio, which is where the Loveland Frogman is from. He's our local cryptid. So I was going to watch a movie about Frogman because I was like, I'm going to see some stuff that I recognize, right? So Frogman, which is from 2023. Turns out this motherfucker was filmed in like Minnesota somewhere.
Oh, really?
I think there was parts of it, the very beginning, that was filmed in Cincinnati.
So they had stuff stand in for Loveland?
Yeah. Anyway, it was cute. It was fine. It was okay. It was helped out by some really good actors.
Yeah, the acting was
It
great.
was a found footage movie. So its basic story is this kid, when he was young, him and his family were on a road trip. They stopped in Loveland. He got footage of the Frogman because he was filming the woods. And it's ended up, is on the internet, and people don't think it's real. And he's determined to prove it was real. Now that he's an adult, he's going to go back and try to prove that the Frogman is real. It was made for like $10, and they put all of that money into their actors. So I do appreciate that, and I think it's watchable because of the actors. That's all I'm going to say. Frogman, it's on Tubi if you're into it. If you're a completist and you like a cryptid movie.
And I said I was going to circle back because I wanted to also say you watched Galaxy of Terror, right?
I did watch
Yeah.
Galaxy of Terror.
Have you seen this, Andy, the old Roger Corman movie?
I didn't pay attention to all of it.
Maybe, I don't know.
James Cameron kind of got to start doing this, like special effects and stuff on this. It's an
Is it
alien
like a-
ripoff.
Oh, it sounds like a anthology to me.
Nope.
It's a good time.
Who's in it? That
Robert Englund?
Robert Englund, Sid Haig, Ray Walston,
Yeah. Oh, and Joni from Happy Days.
Aaron Moran,
Wow, it's got a lot of names.
and Grace Zabriskie.
When
know
was
what I'm
this
talking about?
made?
82, I think.
82.
81. 81.
81.
No, I've heard her name. She's been in a lot of TV and stuff.
Yeah,
It's on Peacock. I think it's a lot of
she's a
fun.
great character actress.
Galaxy of Terror, I mean.
Yeah, we watched that. That is something I watched.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy?
I saw the new Bong Joon-ho movie, Mickey 17.
Oh,
What
yeah.
did you think? I'm hearing mixed reviews.
First act, 2 acts were great, but then it kind of lost me on the third.
Oh.
It's I know it's like based. I guess it's based on a book or something.
Yeah.
So I can't. I don't know if it's the fault of the material or the director, but it just seemed like 2 different movies.
Oh, interesting.
Like the first part, I think could have been a really interesting and thoughtful take on the implications of cloning and stuff like that. But then Bong Joon-ho, the last act, to turn into like a anti-capitalist thing, which I'm fine with.
It's his
fuck
signature,
capitalism.
right?
Yeah, it is. But it just kind of put all the other stuff that came from before aside and left it unresolved. And just like there's 2 movies in there somewhere, like if they focused on one thing, it would have been a lot more impactful, but it got kind of watered down since they kind of lost focus.
Yeah. I remember we had the similar conversation about the Suspiria remake or reboot, that it felt like the 2 movies both unresolved. I don't know if you
No,
remember
actually,
that.
like
yeah.
I actually like the Suspiria remake better than the first one, so I don't remember what we said about that.
Yeah, we
that,
were talking about how it's so ambitious that this whole extra plot that they put in, and that it didn't necessarily like wrap up the way it should have. But they're like also, so Mickey 17, I've heard that from somebody else, said they thought the ending
Yeah, I appreciate like the movie making skills and everything, but just I guess it was a script that let him down. So for the best part of the movie for me was Robert Pattinson. He's like turning out some really good stuff lately, and I'm glad he can like move on from like the Twilight stuff.
Yeah, and
So-
his brief Harry Potter dalliance.
Yeah,
Dalliance.
Yeah, I
Fun
like him.
word.
I like him. He disappears into a role in a really nice
Yeah.
way. For someone who's that striking, that's hard to do.
I've only ever seen Twilight with him in it. I haven't seen anything else with him in it.
His even though I wasn't crazy
I didn't want to
about
see the Batman.
the
and I'm not
Batman, it's
going
actually a lot of
to.
fun.
No.
yeah, and he was if you're Robert Eggers fan, he was in The Lighthouse. That was really
Yeah.
good.
Right. I have heard
And
good
that-
things about that.
And one of the Safdie brothers movies, like the big breakthrough, was called Good Time, and I recommend that a lot too.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
Sean.
I doubt yet you're gonna actually see any of these movies, but they're really
You
good.
never know, Andy, but I am busy watching nonsense that Tubi feeds me.
Traitors.
So
We've
I
been
have
watching
been
that.
watching The Traitors.
It's fun.
Like first season, do you
First
start
season,
from the
yep.
beginning? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
No, it just sounds confusing to me.
It's not.
It's just a dumb. It's like
It's like Big Brother. If you can handle Big Brother, you can handle this.
there are no real rules. It feels like they just basically are like, okay, it's werewolf. They're playing werewolf, and but they
just on
keep
a larger scale.
and they keep coming up with ways to change the game of werewolf, like with little modifications to what they're doing. They have challenges.
Well, that's not fair.
Yeah,
It's like Big Brother and Survivor had a murder mystery baby.
yeah.
And plus, like, I feel I'd be annoyed by a lot of these people because they're like reality stars, aren't they?
I feel like there was a couple of people.
The
from,
season we're watching, it's half regular folk and half
Yeah.
reality stars.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a good time.
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I feel like I needed something like this to kind of calm my brain down.
Yeah.
It's like a salve.
Something that isn't the news telling me everything that's terrible.
Yeah,
And everything is pretty
it's
terrible.
good and silly. And Rachel from our
Uh-huh.
season of Survivors back.
Remember
our favorite.
Rachel? Floaters grab a life vest. She's on it.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it seems fun and campy, but
Yeah.
maybe I'll give it a shot. But
Ellen Comedy's a lot of fun.
What'd you say?
Alan Cumming.
Alan Cummings is great.
He's
Great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Is it Cummings with an S?
I don't know.
Cumming.
Soon.
I'll call him Alan Nutting from now on.
Okay, I think that's fine. Anything else? Anything else anybody's been watching? All right.
Freddie, did you say you're coming back to something?
Well, it was Galaxy of Terror. I wanted to make sure she
okay,
mentioned that.
okay.
I watched a couple of things, but I don't really recommend them. But Lord of Misrule, which is a folk horror movie that you can stream on, I think, Hulu. I will recommend You'll Never Find Me on Shudder, which is a stormy night. It's an older guy in his older guy like my age, in his he seems older, in his trailer. It's pouring down rain and a woman comes to his door. It's one of those stories. It's just the two of them in this trailer and you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, like who's the bad guy?
Right. And they do the acting in that is really why I would recommend it. And the last thing
Is it easy to find?
Yeah, it's on
You just
Shudder.
search for it. Okay.
You'll Never Find Me. And then King on Screen was a lot of fun. That's just a documentary about Stephen King movie adaptations.
Yep. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
At the end of every show, we always say hi to our Beelzebubs. NOTLP.com. Nope. Patreon.com/NOTLP.
There it is.
Matt, Branan and Emily, Jeffel, Iona Goodwin,
I want a great one.
Dr. Brian, Old Dirty Bill Sturd, Bill Fahrner, Blayne Yogurt, Jordash Jeans, Monica, Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora, Ernie, Dave, and Paul.
And
Those are our babies.
All right.
Monica
Thank
did not
you.
get back to me yet with her pick. So
We're
if you,
working on it. Don't worry about it.
So we'll have a replacement item if she doesn't.
Okay.
A replacement item
I have no
of
idea
equal
what he's
or
talking
lesser
about.
value.
He's not in charge here. All right. Thank you so much for listening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Frankenstein was wondering if he should go to bed when his old buddy Leatherface put on Dawn of the Dead. And Igor made the nachos in a severed human head, and they enjoy the movie with their friends. David Kessler walks the streets of London on four legs, while high above him Ellen Ripley finds some funny eggs. And Freddy laughs at Nancy in her nightmares as she begs to have just one